Hi, welcome back. Today, we'll be discussing Rene Descartes, the founder of modern philosophy. Descartes was born in 1596 in France. He moved to Sweden at the end of his life to be the Queen's personal tutor, and died there in 1650 because of the harsh climate. His thought is the first major break from the classical and scholastic tradition, so he is considered the father of modern philosophy. Besides being a philosopher, Descartes was also a great mathematician. He was one of the first to use the Cartesian coordinate system, which is named after him, and is now used by mathematicians everywhere for graphing points. His philosophical approach is inspired by his mathematics. Descartes is dissatisfied with the philosophy of older thinkers. He thinks they take too much for granted, and that they're not rigorous enough. He wants to go back to the beginning of thought and build up philosophy from there. He wants a system of philosophy that is built up like a proof in geometry. You start with the most basic thing you can, and then build your argument from that. Descartes starts his system of philosophy with doubt. He tries to doubt everything he possibly can and see what is left after that. Doing this, he comes to the conclusion that everything we see around us can be doubted. We can doubt that our eyes, ears, and other senses are trustworthy. We can even doubt that our physical bodies are real. We might really be dreaming, or we might just be brains that an evil scientist is controlling, making us think we're seeing things we're not. In the end, we can doubt almost everything. There is, however, one thing which Descartes says we cannot doubt. We cannot doubt that we ourselves are thinking. All this doubt is happening in our minds, so by doubting we are thinking. The fact that we are thinking is the one certainty, and because of this we can know for sure that we ourselves exist. Descartes says, "I think, therefore I am," or in Latin, Cogito ergo sum. This fact of our existence is the most basic thing we can know. We now know that we do exist, but we still cannot be sure of the rest of reality. Just because we exist doesn't mean that our senses are trustworthy. Descartes solves this by first saying that we can know God exists by using our pure reason. He uses a variation of the ontological argument, which was first invented by St. Anselm and which we'll cover in a future video, which means that, because of the nature of the concept of God, he must exist. From this, Descartes says that we can know that our senses are trustworthy, because God is good and would not allow our senses to be completely deceived about reality. Descartes, in saying we can doubt physical reality, but that we cannot doubt that we can think, is stressing the importance of thought and our ability to reason. He says that man is a thinking thing. Thinking is a more important part of our nature than our physical bodies are. This is the beginning of a branch of philosophy known as rationalism. Rationalism says that the only part of reality that matters, or at least the most important part, is the part that we can understand using our reason alone. Anything else is unimportant or even nonsense. Descartes also gives a way of looking at the human person which is very different from Aristotle. This is Cartesian dualism. You will recall that Aristotle said that both the form and the matter are needed for a thing to exist. Moreover, a form needs the right matter, and the matter needs the right form. You can't have a jackalope with the form of a pumpkin. Descartes, however, doesn't see the union between form and matter as being as important. He thinks that the human mind, which would be included in the form for Aristotle, is more important than the matter, the body. In theory, you could have a human mind existing in separation from a human body. In making physical reality less important, Descartes is more like Plato than Aristotle. Descartes makes the mind more important in humans, but he sees the mind in animals as being virtually non-existent. Since animals aren't rational, Descartes sees them as being pretty much machines. When animals react to their environment, like eating when they're hungry, it's just because they're programmed that way. It's the same reason a car starts when you turn the key. There had been skeptical philosophers before Descartes, all the way back in ancient Greece, but Descartes made skepticism the standard starting place in modern philosophy. Many of the philosophers we'll be looking at in the coming weeks have doubt as a major part of their system. His sharp distinction between the mind and reality is also a big theme in modern philosophy. The rationalists agree with Descartes' idea that the mind is more important, but others, reacting against this, say that knowledge is only possible through the senses. We'll be seeing one of the biggest proponents of this idea in the next video. We hope you join us again to hear about David Hume. Happy philosophizing!